Guys, welcome back to another video. Today's video is about bath time, how to get your dog used to it and how to make your life easier. So if you're interested in that and your dog's really not having a good time with bath time, this is a video for you. Okay, I think it's time for a little story time. When I first got Shiloh, I think maybe a month or two went by, and then eventually we realized, okay, this dog needs a bath. So I remember seeing that at a local pet store, they had these kind of bathing stations at the back. We thought, oh, that's great. They have everything. They have all the equipment. It's, not going to make a mess in my house. Why don't we take him to the pet store and make his first bath experience out in the world? Let me tell you, it was a huge mistake. Not only did he hate it, he was completely petrified, and I think I could have possibly traumatized him from that experience. Absolutely everyone in the store was looking at us and thinking we were abusing him because he was like squealing and just like these cries of like abuse were coming from the bathing station. It was completely terrible. I don't even think we finished the bath because that's how horrible. So anyway, all that to say, I realized that day, okay, I gotta take this kind of like bath time thing as a real training session. You can't just expect your dog to be 100% okay with bath time when bath time arrives. You need to actually prepare for it and train them so that they're not completely petrified and they don't make your life completely hard while doing it. So this video is all about the do's and don'ts of bath time. It's not about, however, the technique of bathing. It's not about the products that you use or any of that technical stuff. This video is purely about how to get your dog to be chill and not be petrified and not make your life so difficult. Okay, let's talk about some of the prerequisites to bath time. Some of the skills your dog should ideally know. I say ideally, but sometimes people like to do training backwards, but there are some fundamental things, and there's a reason why certain fundamental commands are really important, is because they're fundamental and they kind of help you do other things, such as bath time. So for bath time, some of the things that I recommend to train beforehand is, of course, sit, stay, and a little pro tip also would be that if you have a high energy dog, to exercise your dog before you do the bath time. So what this does is it kind of reduces their level of anxiety and energy, which you don't want them to be trying to exert during the bath time. So if you have a dog that has high energy, I recommend you take them out for a long walk or take them out for some exercise so that when they get back, they're not full of that pent-up energy when you're trying to give them a bath, and that might just help them a little bit. Besides the prerequisites, all you need after that is some treats. Obviously, all training comes with treats, and whatever you have in terms of supplies for your actual bath time for your dog, I'll leave that up to you. It's your business. Maybe we can make another video about that, but let's just keep in mind, this video is not about those products. So all you need for this video is treats. Okay. Let's get right into it. Stage number one is getting them familiar with the actual bathing space. So whether that's a bathtub or that's a shower, whatever the area is, getting inside of it, the very, very first stage. Do not overlook this. Don't skip this, right? You have to remember the dog needs to be comfortable with the environment. So you don't want to just force them kind of into that space, a space where they might not have been before. So you need to kind of take the time to get them acclimated to being in that space before you do the bath time. I would recommend to do this, a handful of times before the bath time. Now I know, obviously, when you decide that your dog needs a bath, it's probably because he's desperate for a bath, he's stinky, he's smelly, whatever. In that case, you might need to expedite this process a little bit and just kind of monitor how your dog's doing. But stage number one, get them familiar. So let's talk about what that could look like. So first things first, getting him into the area. Now I have a tub, I don't have like a walk-in shower, which is fine, whatever you have is fine. Rule number one, do not drag, pull, or force them into that space, okay? That is traumatizing. Do encourage them to voluntarily go in there. So whether that's on a leash or off a leash, with treats, lured with a toy, whatever it is, you need to encourage them to voluntarily get in that space and reward them when they get in that space. For Shiloh, I remember once I put the leash on him with his actual collar and everything, and I walked as if we were walking on a walk, but I walked to the bathroom and I was like, great, boy. And when we got to the bathtub, I said, up, and he jumped into the bathtub. Now, would he have done that without being on the leash? Absolutely not. And that's just something that I noticed from Shiloh. Now, your dog might be different, but this is a little bit of a hack that I found really helped me. If your dog is used to walking on leash and is used to following your lead when you're you're walking him or her, that might be a little trick that might help you to get them in. Now remember, you're not pulling them in with the leash, okay? But it's just a little bit of a mental trick to motivate them to follow your lead. Now, it's really important that once your dog gets into the bathtub or the shower area, that you're praising them and giving them treats. Mentally, they build that association of positivity with that space. Ideally, you could do this a few times, maybe for a few days, a couple of times, and then maybe on the third or fourth day, if you notice that they're comfortable with it and they're not freaking out, then you can move on to stage 2. Okay, let's move on to stage number 2. Stage 2 is getting familiar with the shower head. Now, you may not have a shower head, that's fine. You know what I mean. Whatever the thing is where the water's coming out, maybe it's a bucket. Some of you might be using a bucket if you don't have a shower head, but I'm assuming it's going to be one or the other, either a bucket or a shower head. They need to get used to whatever that item is. That item being on their body, touching them all over. And that's another thing I should have mentioned at the beginning, is that your dog should be comfortable with being touched all over. If they're not, then you need to make sure that you either avoid those areas during the bath time, or over time work on them getting comfortable with being touched in that area, whether it's their hind legs or their tail or whatever it is. Make sure that you respect those boundaries or work on them separately. So what are we going to do with the shower head or the bucket? What you're going to do is that, okay, you've already gotten your dog into the bathtub, you've treated them, you've reinforced that positive association, and now you kind of want to test out what they're going to think about the shower head. So I want you to take that shower head or that bucket and start just kind of lightly placing it all over their body, maybe a little bit on their head, maybe a little bit on their side, rub it a little bit, rub it on their back. And when they're calm, as you're doing this, I want you to treat them, okay? If they're uncomfortable or immediately uncomfortable, then you need to take fewer little baby steps to move towards this comfort level. That means they're not ready to move to the next stage, which is actual water coming out of that object. Slowly but surely, your dog will associate positive things or positive feelings with that object touching them, because every time you're doing it in a non-threatening, calm way, and you're giving them a treat. What you're trying to do here is build confidence, really, essentially. Confidence that they're safe in that area, that nothing's gonna happen to them, they're not gonna get injured, you're not hurting them, and that it's good to be there. All right, so a do here is do proceed to the next stage if your dog is comfortable with this stage, which is touching them with the shower head or the bucket. I recommend do not proceed to the next stage until they pass this. And a little tip, if your dog is very frightful of the bucket or the shower head, then what you need to do is just start with little smaller steps, right? Instead of putting it right on their face or really close to their body, maybe it's a question of putting it 1 foot away or half a foot away, giving them a treat, and then slowly and slowly and slowly bringing it closer over time. So it's all about baby steps when it comes to dog training and patience. So just stick with it. If you have a kind of a special issue, I would love to hear it. Just comment down below if you have kind of like a unique challenge with bath time. But otherwise, let's proceed to step 3. Okay, so now your dog has mastered getting into the bath area. They've mastered being touched by the bucket or the shower head without water. And now that means you're ready to graduate to step 3, which is all of that except with some water. So fill up that bucket with some water, or start running a little bit of water from the shower head. Don't add too much water, okay? Everything's about gradual steps. Now, just as a safety tip, obviously you want to make sure that your water is not too hot. So make sure you test the water before you put it on them, because you obviously don't want to traumatize them with the temperature of the water. Not too hot, not too cold, right? They're not humans, they have fur, and they have a different way of regulating their body heat. So whatever temperature you would probably put for yourself is likely not appropriate for your dog. Likely a lot less hot. Anyway, you should do a little Googling on the temperature of the water before you bath your dog. Okay, so you might notice that when you try this step, there are some areas in the body where they kind of don't mind the water being, and then there's some areas in the body that make them way more anxious, like Shiloh, which is a little bit natural. He doesn't like the water coming up too high close to his face. So usually what I do in that situation is that I put a little water in my hand or in my glove, and I use my hand to wash those areas. So that way he doesn't have the hose up too close to his face, he's not getting freaked out, and maybe over time he'll get used to the hose and more comfortable with the whole experience, that he'll let you do a little bit more and more. As a good dog parent, you should always be monitoring your dog's cues. If they look uncomfortable, if they look like you're pushing it a little bit too far, you need to respect those boundaries. Back up, establish a little plan to get them to get past that fright. And of course, with all good training, as soon as they let you do any of that, so they're letting you pour a little bit of water on their legs, on their back, on their tail, on their belly, or with the shower head, then of course you're going to treat them immediately, give them positive reinforcement. Stay calm, really important, right? Because dogs are looking to you for cues. If they are feeling frightful and you also look panicked, then that's gonna make their feelings worse. So you need to also stay calm. I recommend saying less. Only speak if you're going to use a command or some sort of reassuring, positive reinforcement. Otherwise, we're not having a conversation with the dog while bathing. Now, if you've arrived at this stage, you've passed stage 1, 2, and now 3, you're pretty much successfully already bathing your dog. Stage 4, the final step, is really just doing all of these things for a prolonged amount of time, right? Your dog might tolerate you pouring water on them for a minute or two, but the question is, are they gonna let you do it for 10 minutes or so? Rinse, repeat, conditioner, you know what I mean. So stage number 4 is just getting them used to sitting or standing, whatever position that you need them in, staying in that position until you're actually done. One technique that I've used also that helps me get through that 4th stage is sometimes taking little short breaks, right? If you notice that their patience is starting to wane and they're starting to fidget or maybe whimper a little bit or looking for an escape route, then maybe turn off the water, give them a cookie, and just give a little kind of sensory break from the anxiety. Just enough, maybe a minute or so, just enough to help their nervous system calm down, and then resume what you're doing. I know it's tempting to pay other people and groomers to wash your dog, but if you haven't taken the time to train them on this particular skill, because it is kind of like a lifestyle skill, then you're putting that experience in a stranger's hands. Yes, they are trained. Yes, they are professional, but they have a system and they have a schedule, and their job is just to wash the dog. They're not focused on trying to get the dog to not be traumatized during this experience. That's your job as a dog owner. So you have to make sure that before you put your dog in a potentially traumatizing situation, that you've done some of the preparation that's going to help set them up for success. That's something I wish I knew from the very beginning. I mean, bathing Shiloh in a pet store in a foreign environment for his very first time, in hindsight, was an extremely bad idea, and I should have started at home where he's already comfortable and knows the surroundings and knows us. But that's okay. We all make mistakes. What matters is that you care about your dog and you're doing research, and that's awesome. So your dog appreciates you. Well, guys, that wraps up our 4-step do's and don'ts of bath time, how to get your dog comfortable with bath time. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope I gave you a few little tips to help make bath time a little bit easier. Please let me know down in the comments what your experience is like bathing your dog or bathing your dog. I think it's bathing, but I've been saying bathing, whatever. Please let me know what your experience was bathing your dog down in the comments, and please like and subscribe to this channel for more content, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, folks.
Look at you. Oh, look at you. You're so cute.